It is finally time for us to get back into the CSGO action. We've been waiting for a long time, but no more shall we wait. No more shall we suffer. Trying to find out who exactly will be coming up and who exactly will be victorious. We're getting right into the action as the knife round does begin. And I just realized that I have not actually turned the audio up, which is why you cannot hear anything. So I need to open the console. And to open the console, I need to change screens over so that there can be no cheating and there can be no nefarious activities to do with the GoTV. Because we do not like nefarious activities. Remember, if you are just tuning in, where the hell have you been all day long? Where the hell have you been? Because we have got for ourselves a absolute bombshell of a game. And it is going to be stunning. Absolutely stunning. And we're going to be heading right into that very same game right here and now. ESPADA picking up the kit and a couple of flashes on Pashanjay. And we've got on the other side, RAVE with Tiger having a decoy. Sviat sitting down towards that second mid side. Is going to be pushing right up. They're making this a quick take into A. They go. Romy and Bodiana trading through and through. Luke has managed to get one as well. But as he goes down, that means it is now down to a 3 versus 3. With the CTs on the retake, they do still have possession of that kit. Pashanjay on the other side has to try and dodge these bullets coming through from Bodian. Trevi and Pashanjay, they're too accurate, they're too quick, they're too swift. And they will be eliminating the rest of the assault team, the assault crew, the attackers. And in the meanwhile, we are also attempting to figure out what exactly is going on right now. As ESPADA are already putting themselves in a situation where very suddenly, with these two MP9s being the aggressors, they can actually get a lot of money out and put RAVE on the back foot for a very long time. In the meanwhile though, Sviat is not going to be able to... Oh my goodness, Tiger gets that kill. Easily done from him. Romy is trading it away, though. And this is a problematic situation where RAVE are getting these kills early on onto the MP9s. You don't want that to happen. You want them to be able to be the ones who are farming up cash. And if this is not taking place, then what's the point of going up against a full eco round? They haven't even got an armor. Not even got an armor. Romy's sitting very close towards that A bomb site. Bodian is taking the peek through. Dropping down is a possibility, but he doesn't want to entertain it. Instead, he will be conducting an aerial assault. Sviat as well with another kill, and now it's down to a 3 versus 2. Krecker holding the correct angle, and he takes out Vicious, so it's all down to Trevi, and Trevi himself will be down, as it is a 1-1 RAVE equalize. Surprisingly enough, they're able to do a great job there. And what a way to start things off. Their aim looks crisp and absolutely on point right now. CZ's, Deagles, and a 5-7 is all that ESPADA now have, because now they are the ones on it, the back foot. And RAVE are the ones who have suddenly recovered all the guns, suddenly got all the money, suddenly got all the utility, and all the chances to win this round that they could possibly ask for. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Incendiary flies right in. A couple of flashes will help out a bit too. Can Pashanjay get himself into a better position though to get a couple of CZ kills. This is pretty decent over towards the cart side of pit, but you can be caught up if Rami goes down early on to a quick peek. Rami playing on top of the bicycle as well, but first contact should be coming through for Finvicious, who's got a flashbang ready to deploy so that Trevi can take the peek forward as soon as Cracker peeks out, fully flashed up, but he's in the cubby and he won't be caught out. Information has somewhat been given up, but remember, Finvicious has got another flashbang, and in the meanwhile they want to be able to fight this up. These trades coming through over towards the terrace side. Cracker is going to be inching his way forward. He is in some deep trouble. Trevi pushes through, finds one, but Cracker and Sviat have already managed to get 2 out of commission. Bodian with another headshot onto Luke will do the job and progress forward towards the banana area. Bashanjay and Rami, these are the 2 men you got to keep an eye out for. The second they want to start taking these peaks, this is where things get even more interesting. Rami. Oh dear, this is a difficult crossfire for the terrace side. They've got to be careful. The CZ could really come up big over here. And indeed, Rami's distracted them for long enough for 1 kill. But Bashanjay pulls out the knife, getting overzealous. And he didn't retreat for the reload. Didn't have a chance to do so either, to be fair. But I have to say, a little bit disappointed in that performance. Two to 1, and ESPADA are going to be on the back foot pretty consistently if these are the circumstances that they are presented with. Grenades and incendiaries may not be enough. Bashanjay continuing through. There's 5 players over towards the terrace side. Sviat planting down that bomb makes it so that Finvicious and his P250 are gonna have to stay a little bit lonely and without a target for a little while longer. Tiger takes down Luke as well, which means that now Finvicious can try and take the peek out. Try and continue forward, Sviat. Gotta be careful, Sviat, because you might be caught out over here. Tiger looking for the flick and actually manages to get a quick kill. Sviat and himself are cleaning up the house. Cracker, a very, very vertically intensive spray. Not something I see every day of the week. That's not a spray that you practice in the workshop, but he gets it done, so who cares at that stage anyway. Up in the hands of Luke, that's where ESPADA can look to turn things around. Luke, like I keep bringing this up again and again, we got to keep in mind, he is the man who was tried out for Na'Vi and was confirmed as a stand-in for a while until they were able to get Electronic on board. And you've got to have some serious credibility within the scene to be able to get that done. Admittedly, a few of those things came down to whether or not there were rules. And oh my God, Finvicious, what are you doing to them? You are absolutely demolishing them. Tiger's doing the exact same thing towards the CT side, though, as ESPADA will continue spraying through. The bomb has been dropped behind, and with the smoke going over towards the CT side, Trevi manages to not only get a kill, but progress his way back in towards the side. So he's in perfect position to play from back of Fountain. But remember, it's still a 3 versus 2 to the terrorists. They have a chance. They absolutely have a chance in this round. Because worst case scenario for them, the CTs go for a stack onto a side, but that's so unlikely. That is so unlikely. A minute is still left. There's too much rotation potential coming out from the terrorist side, and they're just holding their angles. Bodian does not care. He's just waiting for something to be gifted to him. But a gift will not be coming through, so he will instead go forward, and he will say, you know what, I don't want to wait for Santa Claus. I'm going to make Santa Claus come to me. There is cookies, there are milk, and there is a dead Trevi. to attract Santa Claus. Romy, though, very quickly finishes off Sviat. Santa Claus might not be coming anytime soon for these terrorists, but that bomb will be planted down and that we might see some fireworks anyway. Bodyan playing from new box. Nothing too surprising over there as Romy will try and get the spray. Will be successful as well in saving the day. ESPADA bring it back to a 2-3, but RAVE money in the bank. Bomb being planted, 11,000 still there on Sviat. He's going to be up to about 13k or so. The rest of them pretty healthy as well. The only person who's somewhat sketchy is Tiger, and he can very easily take a gun from a teammate. Three, two. ESPADA. You've got to admit, they are very effective on the CT side once Luke gets going, but that's a big question mark because Luke, he was very up and down the last time I casted him, which was in the sense that either he went absolutely insane or he was just like a Smith's level player, a Smith's level AWPer. And remember, Smith's played against tier 1 opponents. Luke is not playing against anyone even close to tier 2 for that matter. Smoke comes in. Striker's going to continue forward. Very, very slowly. Manages to avoid the shot because of that very same slow speed. Cracker in the meanwhile throwing out a smoke. Will continue forward. Nice little transfer of the spray onto Luke as he gets this flick of the wrist. Romy in the meanwhile is trying to do the same as he sprays down 2 and almost gets a third. Sviat being down to this low HP means that RAVE are in a very tricky situation, and Kulon, he needs to be the man stepping up, and he has not gotten a single kill so far. I was thinking, why have I not used that word? Yeah, why have I not said that name yet? And well, the answer is because he's been pretty quiet himself. But this quietness is going to end in a series of shouts. And those shouts are going to be screams of pain and misery coming out from him. And as Vicious will finish both him and Sviat off. Nicely done. Picks up the AWP as well. Saving the economy, making sure that they have more than enough in the next round to be able to buy up. Because remember, ESPADA, they're still weak. They're still weak when it comes to money. They're still getting these retakes down. They're still going to be facing up against a fully bought up terrorist side. So you've got to save everything you can. Because you are not out of hot water yet. Not at all. Three for 3. And ESPADA and RAVE, these two teams are oh god, that was a little bit scary for a second, because I thought Vicious was going to go for a quick boost for his teammate, and that's where the other side had more than their fair share of terrorists just waiting for them. I like how they're using their utility though in the meanwhile, as I realize my auto director is not in fact on. Grenade! These CT utilities, man. They're doing so much. Incendiaries moving forward as well. Sviat is actually going through his own incendiary. He's going very, very low, doing a lot of damage to himself. The CTs are still left in a 3 versus 4, but the grenade has actually made it much more possible if they want to go for this. It's entirely within the realm of capability, but they might just save. Luke is feeling worried, and why wouldn't he be? They've already used all their incendiaries to try and stop a rush from coming through, but they didn't realize that RAVE is not actually on an eco, perhaps underestimating the economy of RAVE. And that will come back to bite them. Three for 3. Kulon moving through, trying to go for the headshot. Will be unsuccessful in doing so. Double UMP out as well. That's ESPADA carrying that burden. triple UMP actually, not even a double. They're going for all three, and that's such a crippling effect to your firepower. On the other hand, you've also got Luke, who's forced to go for a double flash bang instead of any incendiaries because he's low on money as well. Admittedly, he is the AWP, so even if he was just to naked off, he could still be very effective, but it's difficult, you know? It's hard being forced to play up like that. Chandra and Fanvicious, in the meanwhile, are getting ready to go in. Well, Cracker, man, oh man, he just got that shot easily done by him. Going for more is going to be the CT players, though, because Rami and his UMP are best friends with the heads of Bodian and a few more, because they're just taking them all out of commission. They're taking them all into their own inventory. They're taking them all into their own stash, into their collection of trophies. And that collection of trophies is going to be extended if Rami can get into position for even more, because the bomb is still not planted. That is giving Luke more and more time to actually rotate over. So Rami must have realized that Sviat is over here on top of him. Luke takes him down though, and that means that Tiger is all on his lonesome on the other side. Have to be careful. Tiger, nicely done. That's a great shot to come through, but the bomb is still within their possession, at least within their line of sight. 15 seconds left. Luke with an AWP. This is not the greatest 1v1 clutch weapon, but he makes it work anyway. Holding the correct angle, and Luke will finish him off. 3-4, very quick to be converted back to a 4-all, with RAVE having had their money reset, but still in a comfortable enough situation that they can actually buy up again, especially if they're going for 5 AKs and no AWPs. And I can't say the same about ESPADA. They're still struggling, they're still weak, they're still looking like they need a bit of a donation to come through. Well, actually, it's not that bad. To be fair, it's not that bad. There is enough money to be able to go for utility. I didn't think there would be, but there is. Especially because they actually have 3 kits as well, which is the most surprising thing in the world for me. On the other hand, the terrorists, they're more constrained. Been vicious. He is he's getting ready. That's what he's doing. For a push to come through his way. A flashbang will immediately seal the deal that he needs to be able to truck out any utility that he has. Nicely done, man. Krika. He gets the short end of the stick over there. Fanvicious is holding a really interesting off angle, not behind New Box, but he's actually behind the pillar next to New Box. So if they don't check him, then he should be able to get 1 or 2 before he, or at least 1 before he rotates back to New Box. And if they do check him, that's where Trevi is on the other side with a perfect crossfire actually being set up. So these players are going to be able to get so much done. Trevi should have maybe held his angle, but in the meanwhile, Sviat finds Fanvicious and he's able to go forward for even more. Rami takes a fall, and Trevi, well, he's been blocked out of the side by that incendiary. 13 seconds left on the clock, but Trevi doesn't care. He goes through, and he gets a bomb planter as well. Continues on for another shot into Kulon. And now, because Sviat doesn't have time to be able to plant the bomb, he needs to get back to safety. Luckily for him, he goes down before the clock time runs out. But they are going to call a pause regardless, and they need it. RAVE, where they looked so good, suddenly they are looking like they are no longer in control. That round was looking great because of what Sviat was able to do, but just pushing through the smoke like that, the player in Ruins was able to bring him down. And well, the pause will run out of time, and seems like RAVE have got a clock ticking inside their head as well, because they are on a very restrained time limit. Well, Luke in the meanwhile takes down Cracker. Zviat, he was looking so good before, but now all of that luster, all of that shine is out. The previous round saw some life from him, but life from him just wasn't enough to be able to get the few kills that they needed. Pashanjay taking down Tiger and Trevi. Well, Trevi's a lone ranger. Trevi's a lone wolf. He is ready to hunt as well. Bodian's taking control of the apartment side and re-peeking in, gets Rami down. Successfully done from him. Very surprised, honestly. In the meanwhile, Luke scoped in with his AWP. And Trevi as well. And Vicious is actually on the other side. He's going to see a man coming through. The smoke will not be giving them enough cover, as Kulon will also go down to Vicious. The bomb cannot be deployed. RAVE cannot get the extra money. Six to 4. And now you've got yourself a puzzle to solve. And Vicious and his Incendiaries are going to be flying forward to continue doing whatever they can. In the meanwhile, Romy and Pashanjay are both just trying to set up a crossfire and pit. Vicious is coming over at the right time to actually give them the backup that he needs to deploy, but Library has been smoked off, and Vicious hears footsteps. He might actually want to go through the smoke, and he's trying to do just that. Unfortunately, already his teammates are actually doing all of the work for him. Vicious can no longer move through safely. He sees one, takes him down, switches over his crosshair to the other side, ducks down to try and dodge the bullets from Zviat, but it just simply isn't enough, and Zviat continues just knocking down CTs left, right, and center. He's sitting on 12 kills right now. Kulon on 1. Luke on the other side not doing too hot either. That's what I was talking about. These AWP players on the lower levels, they're just not pulling their own weight, and their guns are worth their weight in gold. Is this where you maybe just say, maybe don't go for the AWP, maybe just, you know, stick to the M4? Because so far, if you're not having too much of an impact, and in a game this close, you are having your money swept away from you note by note. And Vicious moving through towards that A site. Getting back in there. While Rami is managing to get a flashbang through as well to blind a few players. These 3 players on the A side, they've been carrying some serious weight, but their positioning is so defensive. Now, Vicious admittedly is not inside the library. That's where Trevi is. Trevi's actually looking to maybe even push through, but he doesn't realize it. They're backtracking, and now all of the pressure is over to Luke, who, oh dear, he misses that one shot and needs to have his gun ready because they're going to be coming through further onwards. Luke, stop doing this to me, man. I just hyped you up. I just hyped him up. What an absolute shame. Trevi going down as well might just be the call for ESPADA to try and save in this round, because this is a very difficult retake to go for, especially with them still having 2 more Incendiaries and just having deployed 1. Bodian is actually still sitting at barely any HP. And now Kulon has got his AWP again. Now we're hoping and he's hoping that he can get above one single kill. I mean, you have to feel bad for the poor guy as well. He is just stuck in between a rock and a hard place as they keep having rounds back and forth, and that just puts them in a difficult economic situation to be able to warrant going for that AWP. And even on the D side of Inferno in general, it's very difficult to be able to AWP successfully. There's very few players, very few AWPers who can actually do it at the highest level of Counter-Strike. And Vish is still continuing to jiggle peek out, hoping that he can get some information. But he hears the bullets from far away, and that is his sign to back off. Oh dear. See, this is the problem with how they're playing this setup. A big advantage of having this setup with Trevi being up in between the oranges is the fact that you actually get information so quickly, so you don't have to throw out the incendiary early on. Trevi is not playing it like that. They are not playing it like that. They're not showing their steel, basically. And that means that Kreka will have a 35-second window or so where he can very easily walk through on towards the side as soon as this smoke extinguishes. Luke actually realizes there's a man coming through, and he will be able to. Oh dear, that looks sketchy for a second. Kreka and Bodian though going in towards that B side. That's what I talked about. No longer caring about any sort of that utility. Incendiaries are not there to be able to back up. Pashanje now has to get so much damage done with his M4. His utility is low as well. A single flashbang across the entirety of the CT side, and another smoke being deployed will be able to flush them out even further. And if you look over towards Sviat, he's actually found another kill, and he's got an incendiary to work with as well. So now all eyes on Prashanje as he tries to flick over, but leaves Rami alone instead, as he will be able to get one, but the second, that is Kulon, finishes him off. Kulon getting his second kill of the game, but a very impactful kill at least. Being able to secure RAVE that 7th round and put them in a position to take them to 8. Luke, he's got the deagle, and I mean, I will give him this. Operas are generally good with deagles, at least a lot of the ones that we see on the highest, very highest levels. But again, this is we're going to talk about this in a second, because Romi's been forced back towards the A site once again. Fenvicious is hoping that he's not going to be given too much trouble with the Cracker trying to pick up the pace and start moving up towards that B site, where Trevi's still waiting on the other side. They've got P250s and CZs and very little else. I doubt they'll be able to have too much of a hope in this round, but one can always attempt to get something done. In the meanwhile, Rami is also just waiting for Bodian to get something done. Bodian though unsuccessful for now. Sviat takes down Pashanje, and that means that Bodian should be able to take down Rami immediately afterwards, because Rami has to check too many angles, and the MAC-10 can punish that fairly easily. Bomb has been planted. 6-7, and Luke and company might just save these guns, because or go for exit frags. You know, you're not going to, you're honestly just, it is very, very unlikely that you get this round away. I would go as far as saying it's impossible. because you don't have a kit. If you had a kit, I would say it's within the realm of possibility, even though you would need some superhero tactics. But right now, it's not possible. The best you can hope for is a few exit frags, take some guns out of their hands. Rave's going to have a little bit harder of a time being able to buy up in the next round. Anyway, they don't actually have that much money, so forcing a couple of them to rebuy would be massive. Now, that being said, it is the last round of the first half, and we have to look at the money from both sides. The CTs don't have that much. You have to keep this in mind. They don't have that much. This means that their AWP is much more unlikely to come out. Luke can still go for it, but that would mean that they don't have incendiaries on anyone except for Finvicious, but that's what they want to do. So now Luke has to make up for the fact that they don't have incendiaries. Luke has to be the one stepping it up and getting those kills in this round. If he doesn't do so, then suddenly he becomes a lot less valuable. And I'll be honest, man, there are other operas out there who are a little bit more effective, and Luke's got to start thinking about his options if he doesn't start to show up pretty soon. Flashing out, going forward, Finvicious has a chance to be able to shut down a few, but Cracker, very clean headshot coming in. Luke flashed up entirely, didn't want to unpeak. Because of that, he's forced to back off. The flashbang is enough, at least for now. In the meanwhile, it is going to be an execute coming through on towards that A side, or so it seems. They do have players still watching archway. That's Romy, who could rotate over, but I'd really like to see him start moving in pretty soon. Finvicious is playing the information gathering angle, but if he gets assaulted, then it doesn't matter whether or not Romy can rotate over in time. He's going to have the bomb planted anyway, and he has a chance to keep himself alive, but Pashanje with a pre-fire takes down Tiger. Can't replace himself soon enough, but Luke, in the meanwhile, is the last player left on the site, but he will be taken down too. Finvicious in a 1 versus 2. He's been having a standout performance so far, very, very high up on the scoreboard for his team as well, but this might be a bit too difficult of a task. Sviat, be careful. You could find your head sliced straight off, but it doesn't look like that will be the case for now. AWP makes Finvicious switch over his crosshair for a little while, but that little while is enough for Sviat to punish him and take him down. Moving into the second half, we're going to have RAVE starting off 9-6 in advantage on the CT side. This is a problem. Problem indeed. And something that we haven't actually seen too much that I would actually like to see from RAVE would be that if they lose out the pistol round, go for an existence round and go for an existence buy on the CT side. It's one of the more effective buys, and we're going to talk about this pretty soon. But until then, Kulon, here's footsteps inching forward. He backs off very soon after. But Pashanje and company have to be careful. Trevi will be able to move in onto the side. Shuts down Kulon immediately, switching out for the USB. And Krecker, he's dodging bullets, but how long can he continue to do just that? Looks like long enough, as Luke just can't hit the shots. 4 versus 4. Krecker. And his USB. Hunting around for more, but that shot looked like it should not have hit. Hey, it's fine. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Tiger, in the meanwhile, also taking down Trevi, and it's all down to Pashanje in a 1 versus 3. Tiger could very easily take him down, but in the meanwhile, it is Brecker and company to finish him off. Look at me. Look at me. I'm pretty. I do really like the way that we can actually change up what colors we have when we are drawing on maps, though. It's very nice. It's very nice. Six to 10. MP9, MP9, UMP, UMP. There's 4 SMGs on the side of RAVE. Evidently, we can see that they are feeling confident. And they are feeling like They're feeling like new men. And why wouldn't they be? Because so far they are performing like nothing else. The terrorist side is about to start inching their way forward. But Bashanjay, you gotta be careful, my friend. You gotta be careful. If you want to go through that smoke, you might come to regret it. Flashbang or not, Tiger's ready, and he can't get the kill. Sviat instead is the man to trade things away, and they're going back onto the side. Trevi's being tagged through the smoke. Sviat getting one more. So still 3 versus 3, and Kulon coming in from behind is able to take advantage of the gap in the smoke and shut him down. Century. Still being flicked forward, and they've already turned it into a 1 versus 3. These flashbangs will not affect Trevi, but Trevi, he's got a chance. The CZ can be very effective from this position, and he manages to almost take down 2, but missing a few shots, and that will be the death of him. 11 to 6 rather. ESPADA will be able to find another buy round in the next one, but it doesn't look like their chances are going anywhere so far. Buy round comes out. And RAVE, they're sticking to their UMPs, they're sticking to their guns. They don't want to overinvest into this round. Actually switching out a couple, so pharmacists and M4s, they dish the MP9s entirely. And I think this is a good decision, because you are still fighting up against 5 rifles on the terrorist side. They've got a lot of utility as well, so you can't use the excuse that, oh, you know, it's fine, we're going to win based off of our utility. So that's no longer an excuse that is possible for you to not buy anymore. So now this was the time to start spending a couple of dollars, and that's exactly what they do. Shutting down Tiger is going to be the best thing that has happened to the terrorist side in a long time. It gives them the chance to be able to crack open both sides, gives them the chance to be able to force the CTs into not exactly a rotation, but at least force them into a situation where they have to second guess themselves and play with less confidence. Cracker, though, he is confident as hell. Oh my god, no wonder he's confident. He is disgusting. He is absolutely disgusting. 2 quick kills, long range, spray down, headshot, easy peasy. Lemon, squeezy, and Kulon, he is squeezing Pashanjay's lemons alright. He is shutting him down. Vicious. Moving forward, Sviat is on the other side, but he's not going to be having a fun time at all. Rami also making sure that Kulon will go down, but Bodyan with a quick return on the kill. Means that Vicious has to rely on that incendiary to be able to try and plant the bomb, but he doesn't even have possession of it right now. Look at this, Bodyan can actually push through with 20 seconds left. Will he choose to do so? It all comes down to whether or not Cracker will find Vicious, who is actually still trying to rotate over. He's in apartments. He will be taken down. Bodyan was somehow ready for the push to come through on the other side. to 12. RAVE. We've got 4 M4s, an AWP, and all the utility they could possibly need to be able to close out this round. And honestly, from this round, they could even very easily say that it's time for them to close out the game. It doesn't look like ESPADA is going anywhere. Ever since they've gotten on the terrorist side, they haven't gotten a single round, and ESPADA just look completely broken. And you hate to call it, but if they win if they lose the next round, then I just feel like ESPADA doesn't really have too much of a chance. But as I say, that ESPADA so far, they're actually getting quite a bit done. And again and again, they're missing their smoke, which leaves a bit of a gap, which this time around it works out for them. But there's still the AWP ready from Kulon. If he can actually take advantage of this would be huge. The bomb's been planted. It's still a 3 versus 4, but without too many pieces of Kevlar on the terrorist side, it should be a fairly straightforward 3v4 for RAVE, who do still have got 2 incendiaries in the bank. They're being very slow and rotating out, though, which makes things more interesting. Rami and Finvicious could very easily be caught out by a single incendiary. Rami, though, is trying to play that emo spot and sell it so that they don't realize Finvicious is behind him, and so that they don't realize there are two players. But some reason or the other compels RAVE to try and save this round out and not go for it. Interestingly enough, I don't agree with it, even though they do not have money, which is understandable. But I just feel like this was an error, and you give ESPADA a bit too much to work with. But hey, hopefully they're going to be able to bring it back and reset ESPADA. If they are, then we can see where exactly things will go from there. But it's looking unlikely with when you have to take into account the situation of their firepower. I mean, you look over towards Scott, he's actually only got a USP. He's hoping to be able to get a quick kill. That's why they're actually going aggressively forward over towards that B bomb site. Trevi, what are you doing back in base, my friend? You've actually only got a CZ, so well, they don't have. They've both got one player who's got a pistol. Trevi looks like he's disconnected or something like that has happened. Grenade will fly through. Sviat with his USP. Oh dear, Cracker just shut down Rami. That changes things up pretty effectively, especially with the disconnect coming through. The pause will be there as there are technical concerns that are holding up the server. Luke moving through. He's got Sviat on the other side. The flashbang should be able to blind him temporarily, if nothing else. And Sviat, well, he is a very scared camper. Let's just put it that way. Still a 4 versus 2 though, and he's got more backup behind him, so the USP can at least be used as a spotting tool, if nothing else. I don't know if this round will count. We're gonna see pretty soon. I think it should though, because they did play it out for quite a while, very seriously. And I'm assuming it will because of that reason, because kills were already exchanged when the disconnection came through. So that's probably why. It does make me concerned though, the fact that that pause wasn't called for a while. That just makes me think that their communication is really just not present. I mean, look at this round. RAVE should have lost this round. If Trevi was just simply... If Trevi was present, they would have won this round. In a 2 versus 1, Bodyan doesn't have a chance over there. The bomb can be planted earlier as well, because Trevi was the man with the bomb. It was just a series of very unfortunate circumstances. And we're going to find out. I'm going to try and reaching out to see whether or not we can find if... Okay, no, it looks like... Okay, then. ESPADA, they're fine. You can reset us. We don't really care. Because we had a disconnection. Well, they've still got an advantage when it comes to firepower. There's a lot of pharmacists out. Kulon has gotten his AWP, but he's not really ringing true with that. I mean, he's still on 6 kills, which is stepping it up a little bit considering on the first half I think he only had 1 kill in the entire half. Luke, okay, yeah, that's not the greatest of ideas. Getting aggressive like that when you are not having a good day with the AWP is probably not a great idea when you're up against another opper who likes to op even on the terrorist side of Inferno, which is something you should know, technically speaking. But Luke does get taken down, so that at least they've got that going for them. Tiger as well, finding a man with his back turned, makes it into a 4 versus 3, and as Krecker has conveniently picked up the AWP, so he can actually serve as a substitute for Kulon while he is dead. So the AWP is still present, and it's... Oh my god, give the op to Krecker. Who cares about Kulon when he is performing like that? If he can hit off a couple more shots like that one, Kulon's got to be careful because his role in the team is going to be stolen away. Tiger as well, spraying down Finvicious, shuts him down. And now it's all down to Trevi in a 1 versus 4 to try and keep them... Oh god, please don't save, man. If you lose this, then you've probably lost this game. It's very difficult to win this game if you lose this. And he realizes this. That's why he's going to go for it. That's why he's going to go forward in a 1 versus 4. But with a peak that is preemptively there, Sviat just doesn't let up. Sviat just does not care. Double up now, ready for the CTs. Problems and problems keep on rising. No solutions are coming with the tide, though. $14-7. Vicious and Rami are making their way over towards the apartment side. Bodian will be able to wait for a while, but there's an entire train of people who are coming through, and he's caught with his incendiary in his hands. Kulon and Krekker are doing what they can, but it might not be enough. As I say that, it probably will be enough, because Kulon just managed to get 2 kills. Pretty good for him, especially considering his score still rock bottom for the rest from the rest of his team. But hey, he's stepping it up, and that's what matters. On the other hand, Luke, I couldn't say the same about him. I could not say the same about him whatsoever. Then Vicious and Rami. Well, Rami in particular, the P250. Oh no, Tiger goes down. Ben Vicious will follow on the terrorist side, but Rami being able to find a quick backstab means that they're taking this call to try and go for the fuse, and they will be able to get it out. Krekker finishes it off and will go back, replaces M4 with the AWP, so they can maintain the double op setup. Oh, never mind, they don't have time for that, but they've got money for it anyway if they wanted to go for it. That, and even if they don't, this is the last round. This is where ESPADA now has their potentially last buy coming through. Grenade being chucked out. It's not the greatest in the world. But it's also down to Kulon now, who is playing near the archway area. But it's a chance to rotate into the cubby, but a cubby position is not one I really particularly like for the AWP. Rami going down is a problem over there because he was the only person who had significant presence towards the back of apartments near bedroom and boiler. Now Trevi actually has pushed through, but because of the smoke, he has to go in blind very, very shortly. Kulon is hoping that he can get a kill or two as well, but doesn't look like it is the case. Bodian sitting inside pit is still having the odds and the cards stacked against him. 35 seconds left. Incendiary being thrown forward. The odds say that he will not be able to get the chance to get a kill too soon, because they are potentially rotating back towards that B site, which is where Luke has managed to maintain control of Banana. But do they realize that there are 2 players, including Tiger, who's been boosted up onto new box, who are still at that new box area? And with 15 seconds left, they need to be so quick. Oh no, this incendiary, it ruins everything. They're gonna have to go in so soon. Tiger goes down, but Sviatler returns fire, and with the bomb hitting the deck, this is going to be it. This game is going to be over as soon as Sviat gets that kill. 16-7, Rave dominate ESPADA. They rock their world. And with that being said, we're going to be moving forward to the next game pretty soon, the last game of the day, which is going to be, I'm not actually entirely sure which one that is. If I'm not wrong, it's No Regulation versus Game Agents. We're going to be back very soon with some more CSGO action.